Now, all of this movie.
That shit.
So I'll tell you what it is, because
I want to welcome everybody to today's video. You are watching Planet CHH. Now, listen, on this channel, we ride a fine line, you know, when it comes to guests, the caliber of guests we get, the type of films we talk about. But every now and again, we need to dive into the depths of the dumpsters, the forsaken ones, the downtrodden people, and that's where Justin David comes in.
yeah,
When did the jacket come back on?
yeah, I decided to throw the jacket back on when I was alone with my thoughts.
It looks
I went with
dynamite
it.
though.
Thank you, brother.
Can I see the fit? Can we see the fit?
Yeah, it's not much. I got the I can't remember who put this out. This is the Slumber Party Massacre 2 shirt, but it's done like in the Metallica logo. Really fucking dope shirt. I wish I could remember who did it, but you know, it's funny that it was a great intro. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on today. When you asked me to do this show, talking about, you said just find the most vile, disgusting shit you can pull off your shelf, and we're going to talk about it. And I said, well, goddamn, what's my reflection in this? What is everybody going to think of?
I'm pawning it off on you.
I know, it's like that whole intro. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm just going to pick the most like gutter creator I can find with the most awful taste in movies. But I know that's not your intention. I can't wait to talk about these movies, because you're right. I am into some completely subversive films, and we could talk about how I got into these and all this shit. But I tried to pick some movies that at least had some merit, because it's really easy just to find the most Z-grade, vile, disgusting shit that really doesn't have any substance, at least not to me. So I think I got some good ones here. Hopefully there's some like usual suspects in here, but hopefully I found a few movies that maybe people haven't heard of or have heard of and just haven't checked out. So I got a good little stack of movies here. I'm glad we're doing this today. We're gonna get weird.
I am too, but you see, I know my audience, Justin, and right now my audience is looking behind you and they're saying, look at some of that stuff. Tell me about, okay, between the Terminator arcade and the movie shelf, you've got some kind of rack right there, and I'm seeing some. Is that a Frankenstein?
Are you talking about the corner thing?
The corner thing.
So what I got is I have these are the zombie boglins. That was one of the series that were put out. They glow in the dark. They're pretty cool. And he's just got a pair of those glasses where the eyes are on the spring.
Okay.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse in here. Every piece of dumb shit.
It's dynamite, dude. Look at you.
Thanks, bro. And I don't know if you see it. I just picked up the Toxic Avenger Tots mask that's down at the bottom.
Oh my God, look at that.
And then we were both hunting for the thing in the middle shelf, the Sam lighted statue from Spirit. But yeah, man, it's a little. And then I have that. I don't know if you can see the Terminator. You can't really see it, but behind those zombie boglins, I have the collector's edition of the Endo arm, the Terminator 2 Endo arm, that looks just like the one that's in the case when they go to they do the double lock thing, when they go in the Cyberdyne system. So it's a really cool like replica hand that has the disc at the. It's such a shitty design. But it's a really cool set. But yeah, I got random shit.
Your movies, but see, Justin, I don't think people give you enough credit for style and just like your organization. Like you have a packed look, but it's very there's a feng shui to everything, and I just think you got it going on. I think you know what I'm saying,
dude. I appreciate that. Those are I guess you could call them custom shells, but really all I did was buy some long like 1x12 or 1x8s and throw some stain on them with some heavy brackets. I actually filmed I was going to do a video on it, but I just didn't get around to it. My old set was 3 makeshift bookshelves that had all the crazy lights on it and shit. But I just, as we collectors run into the problem of space, I just had to have more space. So I put up these shelves, and now I'm already out of space again. But I left space to add another shelf. Because everything, you know how it goes, man. God, we're just constantly buying stuff, and it just fills up so fast. But all that to say, thank you, man. I appreciate the props.
Justin, when I started to get to know you, we went down to the depths of hell pretty quick, conversation wise.
Yeah.
And
we still do. If people only knew the shit that We share on Instagram and all that shit there.
I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be serious, and I'm breaking that fast. But here's what I want to ask you, because I've never. I mean, It's interesting. I don't talk to you a whole lot. I'm sorry about physical media. When I think you, Justin, like, what is your favorite company?
Isn't that funny though? We talk all day. I mean, we're shooting messages all day. We don't. It doesn't ever really go back to YouTube or movies. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm so sorry. I forgot your question already. What was it?
My question is, like, I'm looking at yourself. I'm trying to get a feel for your brand. Like, do you have brand loyalty to something? I see Vestron, I see some Arrow, but like to me, you are. I mean this not as an insult. I mean it as a compliment. You are the poster boy for the visual vengeance, terror vision. Am I right?
Yeah, you can say that a little bit. That is interesting. We did talk about that the first time because you couldn't pin me down about what I was really into because it's such a smorgasbord. I think that's just my ADD type personality. But when it comes to movies, with the visual vengeance and that's Blind and Specific, I just was able to catch the first one. So I was like, okay, I wanted to have every single one. But companies like Vinegar Syndrome and those type of, they kind of cater to my wacky sensibility with movies. But it's weird because I have, I have a bunch of Criterion stuff and Arrow Video, but it's all about the movie. If the movie speaks to me, I'm not stuck to a genre. It's kind of like music. I'll listen to anything. So it is kind of wild. I guess it would be kind of hard to pin me down, but you nailed it with this one because my bread and butter, what I really do love and enjoy is the off the wall, irreverent, visceral type horror comedy, and things like that. That's my bread and butter. I love it.
Who influenced you on that? Did you have somebody that kind of led the way?
A little bit. It was all HBO and Cinemax and Showtime, the late night stuff that got me into horror and all the weird shit. But it's actually really cool. I was thinking about this as I was gathering, this stack of nastiness that we're going to be talking about, and I kind of realized that my love for subversive film and weird shit is kind of how I got into physical media.
No kidding.
Because
really?
there was a story, there was a store. Do you have CD Warehouse around you? Do you have CD Warehouses?
I know maybe in Dallas I've seen one, but I don't have one by me.
Well, there was one. I started looking online, getting into horror movies, and I don't remember how I got onto it, but I'm sure I read an article or something about the most insane movies you could ever watch, the Nekromantik and other movies that we'll probably talk about today.
Classic.
But you couldn't just stream them. You couldn't just find them and stream them. This was when Netflix was still like just started their mail, DVD mail and stuff like that. So I thought maybe I can go to CD Warehouse and maybe they'll have copies of these movies. And then I went and talked to the guy. I ended up working there for a couple of years later. The guy, Randy, was super fucking cool, big metalhead and shit.
Really?
And I was like, really? And then I was.
I'm listening.
I'm breaking your serious vibe here. I'm sorry. I'm just a fucking goofball.
No.
But as I went into this store, I asked him. I said, "What's up with these movies?" And I was like, "Where are you here?" The guy was like, "Where the fuck are you hearing about these movies, man?" Because I was asking movies like Aftermath and all of these weird movies, Ebola Syndrome, way back in the day before it got a beautiful 4K release. And he used to special order them, but it was funny because once I worked there, I was like, this motherfucker's just buying DVDs off eBay and marking them up. Or he's going to these different places and buying these movies. And then I started finding out about the different labels, Strand Releasing and Unearthed Films and all these weird labels that are, some of them are still around and doing things. But that's when I started exploding into physical media. And I was just like a fucking edgelord looking for the most vile things that I could find. That's, I was raised on the early days of the internet with rotten.com and E-Bombs World. So maybe that fucked me up in the head, but it's not like you can't watch a lot of these movies and like enjoy them per se, but you can kind of just experience them in the way that you would a roller coaster. Or, you know what I mean? That's what horror is in general. You get the feeling of suspense and being scared without ever being in danger. So when you watch these fucked up movies, it's like you're getting a rush out of it, but you can laugh at it, turn it off, and, go grab a burger. You're safe. You know what I mean?
This is why I'm asking you these questions, because I think it's really cool and important to paint a picture. for people like us. Like we're decent human beings, but we like to watch deranged cinema, you know? So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially the guy buying movies off eBay. And were they selling pretty good, these weirdo titles?
Well, it was eBay and Diabolic too. Diabolic, that was the first time I've ever heard Diabolic DVD. And it's funny, he would just take people's special orders, charge an extra $3, and then you'd have your movie. Yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked again.
Amazing. The last thing I want to ask you about before we start looking at these titles, why don't you tell people really quick about your channel and what you're doing now?
Yeah.
And what you got coming up.
So I have 2 channels. The Dead Couch is like my physical media collecting channel that is fairly abandoned right now. I'm toying with ways to retool. Oh shit! I glitched him. CHH is glitching out. The Matrix is folding in on itself. Oh shit! Did you spit your drink? Do you still got your? Oh, you got your drink down.
I'm good. It's just the confidence of you going, I got the show.
It's fairly abandoned right now because I want to find a way. Like with the main channel, I just started to feel a little stagnant. I wasn't seeing the growth. I wasn't feeling the creative spark. So I will go back to that channel and talk about physical media. I just want to find a different way to do it. Maybe something a little bit more interesting. But the main channel now is Justin David.
Right.
It's just my name. It used to be Movie Watch. I switched over to my name. I switched the content to more long form kind of expose, I guess maybe drama-ish videos. So I started off doing this Corey Feldman video that I guess kind of went kind of viral, and the channel started growing, so I kind of went in that direction.
Yeah.
I did a video on the Hollywood medium Tyler Henry that did pretty well. That was a lot of fun to make, talking about these wacky mediums that talk to people's dogs and talk to people's grandmothers after they died. The most recent video is sorry to say it for Bill Murray fans, kind of a pretty dark video on Bill Murray, showing kind of maybe the nastier side of him. That's my most recent video. And then as soon as we got off here today, I have another video that I'm working on about the writer of Space Jam and Trading Places, a bunch of other movies, got caught with a girl that was a little younger than she probably should have been. So that's kind of, stirring up a little controversy. So
yeah. I want to say, dude, we talk about this, but I really want to compliment you on your videos. It's compelling, it's entertaining, and you're very informative. And I think it's going to be, I do think it's going to be I know it's going to be your key to success. I think you could make a living with these videos if you keep it up. Cause it's sensational work, and it's stuff that I know I couldn't create. I don't have the mental capacity to be able to edit the way you do. It's so good. And I implore people, I'll make sure people can see Justin's videos. His Corey Feldman video is both hysterical, it's informative. It's just so well done, and it's going to be your key to success. Mark my words.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
That's fine. Just the birthday cards better be heavy when you send them my way. But anyway, Justin, let's get into it, dude. So take me and my audience down a trail of, and of course, being physical media is like we like to know about the label and who put it out and stuff like that. And let's get going. What do you got for me? Show me.
Okay, so here's how I kind of organize these movies. So a lot of these movies that I picked are all fucked up, but they're kind of fucked up in different ways, right? So I kind of started this stack out as movies that are a little more leaning into comedy, a little more kind of irreverent, satirical, kind of bonkers, comedy style movies that are really violent and gross. And then they start, as we go on, they're going to get a little darker, they're going to get a little bit more twisted, and they're going to get more fucked up. So by the end of this list, it's going to be
so you're talking, we got beginner, intermediate, then expert.
Right. But they're all levels of crazy. So I hope you guys like them. Yeah, there are a bunch of different labels and stuff. So so the first one up, this is a Vinegar Syndrome title, and believe it or not, this was actually, believe it or not, like we don't all do this shit. It was a blind buy from Vinegar Syndrome. Who hasn't done a blind buy from fucking Vinegar Syndrome?
This is a blind buy.
I know. Yeah. Who would have thought?
I'd be more shocked if you said I bought this movie I love that came out from Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, no shit. Few and far between. I love Vinegar Syndrome, but that's kind of their aim, is to kind of pull these gems from the cracks,
Right.
or the assholes of cinema.
What?
And this movie is called, now all of this movie.
Is that shit?
So I'll tell you what it is, because we lost him. We lost him. We need to get you an inhaler. So you see the embossed. Oh, holy shit! I've never seen Christian break down this bad. Holy shit! I'm dying.
This was the first pick.
No, I'm dying. Holy shit! Holy shit, bro! I'm dying. I'm dying. You're killing me. It's called Assholes.
Oh my
So
God.
here's the case, and you see the beautiful, and only Vinegar Syndrome could put out a movie this fucked up and make it look this goddamn beautiful. So you open it up, there's the inside cover. This movie is fucking awesome, by the way.
Please explain to me the plot of Assholes.
So this movie was directed by kind of like this rich kind of art school type of director. A lot of it's kind of it's scripted, but it's semi-unscripted, but it doesn't feel unscripted. It flows really, really well. But it's about these two people who find each other in a very strange way, and they get addicted to poppers. Okay? There's this one girl she's sober. She's trying to live her life, but she's just not happy. The other guy is this just absolute degenerate, and they find poppers, which I wasn't really informed of what poppers were, but maybe somebody in the comments will be able to tell. But they inhale these little things that completely make them off the rocker, high as fuck, and they just kind of get thrown into the world and act like absolute maniacs. And they
sounds like a Harmony Korine title.
It is kind of like a Harmony Korine, and then they have herpes all over their nose, and it's absolutely vile and disgusting.
So it's not
they like fuck in all these incredibly disgusting ways. It's absolutely vile. This movie is vile, but it's hilarious. Is what's funny about it.
That's got 1995 written all over. Is that when it came out?
It kind of does. It's about the line in here: two recovering addicts meet in their psychoanalyst office, fall in love, relapse on poppers, and become the biggest assholes in New York City. So they are just wreaking havoc on this city. But I highly recommend this movie because it's one of those movies that it's extremely hard to explain. But if you're into super like gross, wacky comedies, I highly recommend Assholes. It's good.
I gotta get you next time. I gotta turn my AC on. I'm sweating my fucking ass off.
I know. I had to turn mine off too, and now I wish I could turn it back on. There it goes.
Oh my God. Jeez.
We're getting wild. We're getting wild.
The first pick. That was the first pick.
Well, it's the first one because it's a majority a comedy, but it's so mind-bendingly weird and twisted that it just has to be. In there.
All right, where are we going next?
So next we have, and this one I won't. I'm going to try to keep my blabbing to a minimum on ones that most people probably know of, and leave my long-winded explanations to the titles like Assholes. Next up is Poultrygeist. Okay, this is a classic, and I couldn't talk about weird, fucked up, crazy, gory movies. Again, this is a little bit more on the silly side, but still, it's rare to find movies that are this vile, this offensive, this disgusting, that are actually fun to watch. And I think that's what's so unique about not only this movie, but about Lloyd Kaufman in general. He has such a charm to his movies.
Yeah.
This movie isn't going to be for everybody. It's about a chicken restaurant that was built on an ancient Indian burial ground. And they, as people consume this chicken from these disgusting green pulsating eggs and shit like that, they start turning into chicken zombies. essentially.
Classic.
And along the way, you have just all kinds of wild, wacky shit. It's very much trauma. It's very trauma.
Was that the newest release of that movie you have, or just the one you kind of?
Oh no, dude! They have a Blu-ray of this. This was actually, I got this at CD Warehouse as a special order. It was a limited to 15,000 copies, which probably they're still probably trying to sell the 14,900
left.
Yeah, you know. But it's a great 3-disc exclusive edition. But it's a musical also. So,
Justin, let me ask you this for the audience. I'm an audience member. I'm watching this video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, he's talking about Trauma, Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
Where would I start if I was going to watch? I'm thinking if I'm going to get into trauma stuff, I haven't gotten into it before. What are like 3 movies that you would say, if you're going to get into trauma, watch these 3 movies?
I would, if it was me personally, I would start off with Toxic Avenger. I think that's just the quintessential trauma film that has the comedy. It also has a little bit more production value to it. It's just the best. Poultrygeist, and probably, I would say Class of Nukem High is probably the other one. Maybe Tromeo and Juliet, who was that movie was written by help me out. I'm forgetting his name. The
I don't
DC.
know
Guardians. He directed Guardians of the Galaxy.
J.J. Abrams?
No. Oh my God! It's absolutely killing me. He started out in Trauma.
I'll look it up. Guardians of the Galaxy director.
Yeah.
Tromeo.
How the fuck am I forgetting his name?
I don't know. Tromeo.
Just look up director of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's ridiculous that I'm forgetting his name. People are going to be freaking out that I can't remember his goddamn name.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Yeah, James Gunn wrote.
Yeah, James Gunn put Lloyd in Slither.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah. So he wrote Tromeo and Juliet. But those are the ones that I would start out with: Class of Nukem High, Poultrygeist, and Toxic Avenger. Those movies. Great.
Those are like great picks, but I would slip in Terra Firma in there.
Terra Firma is great too. That's a wacky one. It's been a long time since I've seen that one. I need to revisit it. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
great movie.
It is. All right, where are we going next? We went from assholes to turkeys. Now where?
And next up, we're going to Tokyo, baby. We're going to Tokyo and have a little fun with the Tokyo Gore Police. Have you ever heard of this one or seen it?
I've heard of this one. Tell me about Tokyo Gore Police.
This movie is so criminally under-discussed that I find it just revolting as the gore that's in the film, okay?
Really?
This movie has some of the most, insane gore and special makeup effects. The director of this also did a movie called Machine Girl. This movie is basically there's this girl. Okay, I'm just going to read the log line so I don't jumble it. In the near future, the Tokyo Gore Police is locked in a bloody war with the Engineers. These genetically modified super criminals can biofuse their open wounds with weapons, turning self-mutilation into combat forms. So you have people whose arms, kind of Extend style, David Cronenberg style, it'll move from flesh to guns, or it'll move from flesh to these crazy knives. So you have these bioengineered people doing it's just like it describes, but you also have these really crazy Reanimator style creations, these little eyeball monsters. It's absolutely insane, but she's on the hunt I think she's avenging her dad's death, so she has to fight through all of these bioengineered crazy people to take vengeance, essentially. But you get the Kill Bill style gore. So if somebody gets their head cut out, it's like a fucking fountain that sprays 30 feet in the air, and it is so goddamn fun. Tokyo Gore Police is amazing. It's a high recommend.
When did that come out? I swear I've heard about that movie for
2004, maybe 2005.
Where'd you hear about that movie?
I don't even remember where I heard of it at this point. 2008. So this is 2008. This is a Region something release. 2008 Fever Dreams. I don't know. But it's awesome. It's super fun. It's gory as shit. It's like Dead Alive level of gore, but it's really futuristic, and it's like an action film. And the production value is just it's crispy and beautiful. High recommend on this. It's really fun movie.
Excellent.
Oh, also, I might mention the lead girl is the little psycho chick from Audition.
I thought she looked familiar.
So that's who she is, and she's fucking smoking hot. She's beautiful. She kicks ass. It's fucking awesome. So
all right.
And next up, we're also gonna go east And I think, okay, this is okay. So now we're gonna go to China now, okay? And we're gonna talk and we're gonna hang out with Ricky.
Ricky-O!
The story of Ricky. I take it you've seen this one?
Yes, I've seen Ricky-O.
To this day, it's just seriously one of the most bonkers movie I've ever seen. I actually got a chance to see this in the theater a couple years ago. They rented it at Screenland Armor. It's a really cool theater by us. They play all these crazy wild movies. Ricky-O is amazing. It's a kind of another vengeance story. His girlfriend gets killed. I can't remember if she gets killed or if they kidnap her or something, but they basically send him to prison. So it's a prison movie, but again, just the most over the top. There's a scene in this movie where Ricky-O, if people who haven't seen it, punches a guy in the stomach, rips his intestines out, and then strangles the guy with his own intestines. Like, this movie is insane. And then at the end, you have kind of a Big Trouble in Little China, like, mutation scene, and it's just nonstop. But the tone of this movie is super weird because it is really funny, but it also has, like, a lot of these kind of Asian horror films have, like, a lot of, like, super melodrama in it, where they're super, almost like an anime, right? So they'll go these flashback scenes of him with his girlfriend, and it's like, taken there's serious moments in the movie, but intercut with just the most bonkers, crazy, insane shit.
When did that come out? I feel like I saw that
this is 2002. Oh shit, no, it's not. 1993.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I saw that movie 20 years ago.
Yeah, Ricky, he's like a superhero. He's like he's not billed as a superhero, but he has like superhuman strength. He's crazy, and he's fucking ripped and shredded. He's an amazing martial artist. It's badass. Highly recommend that one.
Who put that out? I mean, I'm sure there's a Blu-ray you can get, but just in case people.
Somebody put this out not too long ago. This is Tokyo Shock, but they put out a bunch of these like Asian gore movies. So
that artwork's so unsuspecting too. If nobody's seen the movie.
I have been praying for a proper release of this. God damn it! I wish Vinegar Syndrome or somebody would pick this goddamn movie out, because I think this is all we have. If there is a Blu-ray, they've done nothing to it. They've done no work. You know what I mean? It's just they put it out. Maybe they upscaled it digitally or something. But because there's not really any special features. You have like where they're listing interactive menus as a special feature on this DVD. You know what I mean? So
interactive.
Yeah, interactive. You can move the cursor around.
Yeah, when you move left and right on the remote, it'll move on the screen.
Yeah, you can turn the special features. You can turn subtitles on from the menu. You know. Shit. And then you want me to keep cruising?
Let's go, dude. Yeah.
This one, I just couldn't make a video, like a gore fucked up movie video, without talking about Brain Dead. Excuse my...
What the hell? Whoa, what is that?
This is a bootleg that I bought off eBay.
Do you like that title better? Okay, people, Dead Alive is what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, it's Dead Alive, yeah.
Do you like that title better?
Oh, yeah, this is Sloppy Seconds, the old...
Sloppy Seconds?
Sloppy Second Sales? You haven't heard of his stuff?
No, who's Sloppy Seconds?
I don't even know if he's still doing it, but it was one of those guys kind of like... just a bootlegger. I found him on a Facebook group.
Let me see that cover art again.
Yeah, it's
so
cool.
Justin,
this is the altar. I think this was I can't remember which. This was an international poster. It's somewhere in Europe or Asia. I can't remember, but it's an international poster, which is pretty cool. I really like the artwork on that. And then just the back there. So.
That movie really is. You remember the part of the movie where like he sits them all down after they're zombies and they're
the dinner.
And one of them's neck is cut open, and they're putting food in the neck. Yeah,
it's so fucking gross. I still say to this day, it is and will always be the goriest movie ever made. I stand by that. I think there's some people who will argue that maybe it's like some Z-grade movie is grosser, but this movie has production value. It's actually a watchable movie, and I have to this day, man. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that did gore like this, and I don't think it will ever happen. I mean, maybe someday, like, Damien Leone will touch it, but I just don't think, for my money, nothing can touch this as far as gore. I just think it's the goriest movie ever made.
Yeah, I kick ass for the Lord.
Oh God, just every moment of that movie, there's not an ounce of fat on it. It's hilarious. The gore is not only gross, but it's also extremely creative. The editing is also amazing. Like that one scene, there's certain scenes in this movie where you almost have to put it in slow motion to even see how they did it, because there's no digital effects in the movie. Like that scene where the girl gets punched through, or the light bulb goes through her mouth.
Right.
You can't see the cut of where it goes from her normal face to the shit coming through her face. Again, like the head falling back. It's just such God, Peter Jackson's amazing. Hopefully we get some kind of release from these.
We've been hearing. So I think the movie, I have the movie on DVD, and I think it came out on Blu-ray for like 3 months. I see some people have it, and
I think Garrett has it, of course. Yeah, Garrett has everything. I remember Cool Duder was showing off his copy of it. He got an original copy of it. But yeah, it's a hard one to find.
Do you like, before we continue, do you like the movie with that fat alien thing flipping the bird off?
Bad Taste? Oh yeah, I got that one too. It's really rough around the edges, but I do like that movie. It's a lot of fun. It's got all the spirit of Dead Alive and Brain Dead. It's just, he made that with his buddies on weekends, just Peter Jackson did all the effects himself. He plays like 3 characters in the movie. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen Bad Taste.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an incredible movie. It's not as fun of a watch as Brain Dead, but you can definitely see all the germs and the potential, because all of his hallmark styles are in there with the kind of Sam Raimi style camera work, the gore, and all that stuff. It's all there.
I keep hearing that was going to get a high definition release, but I thought that was shot on like Super 8 or something.
It was shot on 8 or 16. You know what's funny about that is I have a really cool edition of that that thing was on an end cap at Blockbuster. Bad Taste.
Really?
It's got the like the, what do you call it? The holographic cover where you move it, the translucent, whatever cover it is.
Yeah, the Pokemon covers.
Yeah, it's got that shit, and I picked that up at Blockbuster back in the day. But yeah, great movie.
All right.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Now this is one that actually I've just seen recently. This is done by a director. I think his name's Greg Araki. I think that's his name. The Doom Generation. Yeah, Greg Araki. This movie is. Have you heard of this movie?
I haven't heard of this or anything.
So there was a clip floating around. I used to see it on YouTube or Instagram, and there was this clip of this insane convenience store robbery scene, right? And there's this person that gets shot. The head flies through the air, lands on the counter, and then starts talking. But it's not a supernatural movie. It's not a quote unquote horror movie. And I was like, what the fuck is this movie? So I watched it, and what makes this movie so crazy, because it's really just a road movie, kind of like a movie like Freeway or something like that is. Right. But what makes this movie so strange is the tone of it, because this movie has some of the most balls out, like cruel, vicious, like ferocious violence, but it's done in this like lackadaisical way. Like the characters don't react to they'll like just laugh at somebody dying and shit like this. It's Rose McGowan, her boyfriend, the guy from
Rose is in it.
Rose McGowan. It also has I think it has the I Quit. The guy from That Thing You Do who plays Jimmy. He's in it, as well as the dude from Donnie Darko. Sorry, I'm forgetting everybody's name. No, it's the guy. It's the friend in there. He was also in May. He's also in May.
I know. I can see his face in my head.
Yeah, so these 3 people are in here. It's Rose McGowan and her boyfriend, which is the guy from May and stuff. He's kind of a little pussy bitch boy. And then through their road journey, they meet this hitchhiker, and that's the I Quit guy from That Thing You Do. And he's really the bad seed that's like, man, fuck that motherfucker, just kill him. And they just start killing people and just start robbing and going on a journey. It's really similar to Freeway, but I would argue maybe a little more fucked up. But yeah, the Doom Generation just got a release from Strand Releasing. I highly recommend this movie. Rose McGowan looks incredible in it. Strand Releasing, yeah.
So what are we talking? 90? Just pre-Scream?
This is what year was this? God, I don't even know what this is. This has to be mid 90s. I'm thinking 96, 97, 95. This is from 1995. Yeah. And there's a little picture of the cast. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's the cast.
Yeah.
And it's just a really crazy movie. And Greg Araki has been trying to get this released for a long time. 4K remaster in 1080p, so it's one of those deals.
Oh, wow.
It's not a 4K release, but this is the first time since the original uncensored director's cut that hasn't been seen since the world premiere since Sundance at 1995. That was like a word salad. Sorry, I kind of jumbled my words there. This is the only version that he approves of. So this has 20 additional minutes that have been cut.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that have now been restored. This movie's wild, man. It really makes you feel gross and kind of uncomfortable.
That's what that's what I want people to know about.
So Greg Araki has done some other wacky movies too, but that's a great movie. Really cool
that
movie.
sounds like it's something I'm into.
Yeah, you'll dig it. It's very it's extremely 90s. It's like, you know what this is? This is like what was the movie with Ethan Embry? It's the director of Days. For some reason, every time I get on a stream or do an interview like this, every name I've ever remembered leaves my brain.
Me too.
So it's so fucking annoying. The director of Dazed and Confused, Linklater. It's like if Linklater made like the most fucked up road movie you could ever make. So the 90s music, aesthetic, it's really wild. So
hell yeah.
I recommend Doom Generation. Really great movie.
Hell yeah.
And I gotta quit talking so much because I still have six, 7 movies to go.
People, I know. Well, people love this, man. I'm telling you.
Next up, now this movie is, I've probably rewatched this movie like 10 times. There's something so charming about this movie. This is directed by a guy named Jimmy Weber. I think he's only done maybe 1 or 2 movies. He's a very small director. Most people probably haven't seen or heard of this. I picked this German release of this movie.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's called Eat.
Oh,
okay.
God.
So this movie is really similar to, I should have had my phone in front of me so I could remember movies. I'm just gonna put it out of my brain because I can't remember the movie that it's really similar to. But this Novella McClure, this young actress, she's living in Hollywood. She's a struggling actress. She's like this blonde bombshell, super hot chick, cool chick. She's making the rounds, doing auditions, trying to get acting gigs, and it's just not working out. Her landlord's putting the eviction notice, where's my rent, all that type of shit, and she's just spinning out, right?
Right. All right. I'm with you.
So as her anxiety starts to build, she needs somewhere to put this anxiety. So at first she's like chewing her fingernails, and then she's like biting her fingers. And then there's a turning point in her car when you ever have those hangnails on the corner of your on your thing? She takes one and pulls it, and it turns into this giant strip of skin that she just pulls all the way down her finger. So she just pulls this hangnail all the way down her hand, and then she just starts eating herself. Okay? So she just starts eating her fingers like chicken wings and eating her toes, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And there's her kind of doing her thing, and the end of the movie is, oh God, the ending sequence of this movie is so fucking amazing. Again, I picked this up. This was a German blue that I found on
Amazon?
eBay. And it's fucking great. I love this movie. It's so much fun.
It's an American movie though, right?
It's an American movie. Yeah, it's an American movie.
When did this come out? I'm trying to...
This was 2000, what was this? 2000 something. It says 2015 was the release. So, but I think it came out actually maybe a couple years before that, maybe 2012. It says 2015. Maybe it is 2015. But this movie's wild. And what's interesting about this movie is you care about this character, like this girl. You feel bad for her, man. You really do.
How did you hear about Eat?
I don't even remember, to be honest with you. So
far, that's the nastiest sounding movie.
Oh God, that hangnail scene is just, it's unbelievable.
Does it make your like skin crawl watching?
Oh, dude, it's there's multiple scenes where I even have a hard time watching it because like he did such a good job with the effects and the blood. He chose this really like super bright red blood. It was a perfect choice because it's just the contrast of the rest of the movie's kind of washed out as far as like the color palette of the cinematography. Okay. So this bright blood as she's just consuming herself just pops, and it's just so insane. Oh, so insane. God,
killing me. All right.
Yeah.
That's not the last one. Jesus.
No, I got a couple more here. So this one will go a little more lighthearted with this one. Okay. And we'll go to Martyrs.
You kept telling me about Martyrs. Look at this.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this is an Umbrella release. They do their Beyond Genres release where they kind of do these a little more off the wall releases with these really nice. They've also done like Beyond Reanimator and a couple of other bigger titles, but this movie, man, this is a rough watch.
Tell
Do you
me
say
about it.
you say you have seen it or haven't
No,
seen
I
it?
haven't. Yeah, I remember you told me to, and I just
So it's rough, dude. It's really rough. The slow and skinny of it is you have, this is a French movie, so it is a French subtitled movie, but this movie is like an endurance of pain. There's a whole bunch of really insane scenes that start the movie off really wild, where this girl's entire family is killed in the most brutal way. Everything in this movie is done in the most cynical, mean, grotesque, vile, it's just mean. The tone of this movie is just
can
cruel.
you give, without using the R word?
Yeah.
Can you give me a small, if you need to, if you, I don't know if there happens there, but can you give me give the audience a small, I'm gonna close my eyes. I just want you to
Well,
kind of
this is
describe me a little scene of it.
okay. So let's say if you were wanting to try and find enlightenment, right? You're trying to find your third eye. You're trying to find out what exists in this world then of our own plane, right? Like, how
Okay.
would you do that?
Right.
There's an organization, this group of people that think they have found a way to go beyond comprehension, beyond our levels of understanding, right?
All right. Gotcha.
So they discovered that the only way to find that, I'm now closing my eyes and going into the world too. The only way to find that place of consciousness is through extreme, brutal torture and a prolonged pain.
Oh God.
So about the last hour of this movie is scene after scene of brutal, relentless, unflinching torture.
Now I have disturbing things playing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Does it match what's in my head, or is it worse? Or
anything that you could probably imagine is in that film. And it has been probably 2 or 3 years since I've seen this, and it's not a movie I've watched a bunch of times. I don't remember if there's a bunch of R-word stuff in this movie. I just remember lots of beating, cutting, flaying. But
what about
this movie has, I don't know if there's any stretching in this. Like a when they tie the people to the board. Oh, well, it's done to a female, so it's really, really rough. But yeah, it's really fucking wild. But again, I think what stands out about this movie is you can have gore for gore's sake that maybe not affect you.
Right.
It's when the production value is so good, the performances are so good, the direction and the special effects are so good, that it just makes it harder and harder to watch because it looks like a $1 million movie.
So that's Umbrella. When did that come? What year did that movie come out?
This is volume 22 of their Beyond Genres. This is what year is this movie? Oh, the print is really, really small and I can't see it very well. This did come out in the 2000s though. This came out in the French Extreme era. So this was coming out probably 2003, 2004. Oh, 2008. Damn. Okay.
Psychological horror film. Yeah.
But it's brutal, and that's one of the ones where I will kind of, I'm not big on like trigger warnings and stuff, but I do believe that there are certain instances where you should know what you're getting into when you're watching a movie. This movie is not for everybody. It's pretty vile.
For what it's worth, Rolling Stones is put it in the greatest horror films of the 21st century list.
And I think my guess would be to what I was speaking to earlier, the story and the concept of finding that consciousness and why they're doing what they're doing. It's really intriguing and it's interesting. So it's not like, Last House on the Left, kind of, the early Wes Craven, just like torture. I mean, it is that, but there's more to it.
I saw the poster art when I looked it up online, and I remember seeing this poster art. Mm-hmm. Based on what I know, I haven't seen this so far. Eat and Martyrs truly have my attention of movies I need to immediately see.
And they made a remake of Martyrs, which I have not seen.
I don't know
who the fuck's decision it was to remake a movie like Martyrs. I don't even know how you would approach it unless you do, because to remove the teeth from it, to remove what makes it so fucked up, takes away from the movie in a weird sense. It's like kind of like the remake of Cabin Fever. It's just like a toothless remake of that. So it's a brutal watch though, man. It's not for everybody.
Perfect. I'm excited.
This is enough. Now
you realize though, there's a lot of people like me that when you tell them, "Oh, dude, don't watch that," Like I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah, but it's a really rough watch. That's probably one of the rougher watches in here. I'm getting hot just thinking about it.
But let me ask you something. Like, is there some kind of emotional endurance that you feel accomplished with when you can see a movie like Martyrs, like when you watch a movie like Martyrs, do you feel some sort of, is it almost like testing your own spiritual limit?
I get those feelings after the movie. Like when you turn the movie like Martyrs off and you literally can't.
You take that breath and
it's like that. Yeah, you have to sit down and be like, God damn. I mean, it takes you on such a ride that you feel exhausted after it, like physically, emotionally exhausted. You know.
Is it a good feeling though, you think?
Not always. It can be. The thing about the ending of Martyrs is the ending is the most impactful scene in the film. Like I'm talking about the ending like last minute of the movie. So that's what kind of transcend. That's why I think things like Rolling Stone people would call it that, because the concept is so heavy and it lands. They land it.
I literally have to see this.
Yeah, they land the ending. Maybe some people will agree or disagree. In my opinion, the ending is what it justifies the means. You know what I'm saying? So
damn, dude. Like I feel like my blood pressure is like dropping, my heart rate's going down. Like I'm just, I haven't seen this movie, but thinking about it, it's got me in this mood now.
Watch it. Watch it, man. God. It's fucked up. Make sure whenever you watch it, you want to watch some edited version of it. You need the full version.
I want to go straight to hell.
You will. You will.
What we got
next up? This is a director who I'm really fond of. I don't know why. It just goes back to what I was saying earlier about I just like taking a ride. These movies are roller coasters, fucked up roller coasters.
Right.
And this is another Strand releasing. This is a French film by a French director called Gaspar Noé. He's done movies. He did Irreversible. This is the same director that did Irreversible and Love, Climax. He's done a bunch of these really obscure French movies.
Irreversible's fucked up.
But yeah, well, this one's even more fucked up.
Oh shit! Really?
Plagued. So this is Plagued. I'm just going to read you this because it's quick. It kind of sums it up better than I could.
Okay.
The movie's 93 minutes. It's just it's an hour and a half of vile, disgusting shit. Super, super lo-fi. This very well may have been shot on. This had to have been shot on 16 or something like that, which makes it even more disturbing. Plagued by racist, misogynist thoughts and a hair trigger temper, I feel like Cool Duder right now. You
gotta read it really fast. Play maybe for those thoughts.
An ex-con.
All love. We're not making fun of
I love Cool Duder. He's the reason I fucking started my goddamn channel. I love that.
Absolutely.
Shout out Wet Movie 2 and CHH and Pizzelle and all the other groundbreakers. Ex-con. Let me start over. Plagued by racist, misogynist thoughts, a hair trigger temper, a middle-aged ex-con, former butcher, tries to find a job, borrow money, and retrieve his daughter. That part of the story is from an institution. If you saw this man walking towards you, you'd cross the street. Director Gaspar Noé decides instead to take a walk inside his brain. So have you seen the movie Falling Down?
No.
What?
No.
Okay, we'll need to talk about that. Falling Down. It's a movie about. It's about a movie you guys who's fucking had enough. Michael Douglas is a guy who works corporate job. He works for the government, and one day, while sitting in traffic on a blazing hot day, he just says, "I'm done with this shit." And in traffic, L.A. rush hour traffic, he just gets out of his car on the highway and starts walking. And everything is pissing me off. He goes into a convenience store and everything costs too much. He goes into another store and it's bullshit. He goes into a McDonald's style restaurant and he missed the breakfast cutoff by a minute. So he fucking blasts the place up with the fucking gun. It is an incredible movie. Robert Duvall, Michael Douglas. It's fucking amazing.
God, I haven't seen that.
So
that sounds incredible.
Dude, it's so good. It's one of my favorite movies. I would compare it to this, but take Falling Down and shoot it on 16 by one of the most twisted directors you've ever seen, right? So this movie starts out with his wife. This guy's just sitting there. His wife is pregnant. She's screaming at him, "You fucking worthless, fat slob, piece of shit, dumb motherfucker." And he just snaps. I almost don't want to say what he does to start the movie, but it involves. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
Okay.
But it's a really fucked up scene. Something he does to his pregnant wife that's just vile, and that sets the tone for the rest of the movie. I
think our imaginations are running with it.
Yeah. So. Think Mike Tyson. Think pregnant woman. Okay.
Oh Jesus.
And so that's how the movie starts. That's within the first like 10 minutes of the movie, and then he just goes on a journey of just. It's a vile movie. This movie, it doesn't have the fun of the other movies. I wouldn't even suggest to anybody to watch this movie.
Good
but
God.
Again, it's just one of those movies that you can't believe exists. It's so wild. Official selection of Telluride, Toronto, New York, Rotterdam, Sundance Film Festivals. Okay. Critics Week Award at the Cannes Film Festival. So that's what I'm saying. Some of these movies that go from the cracks, slip to the surface, there's just a little bit more to these movies than exploitation for exploitation's sake. Okay, whether it be craft, cinematography, writing, the style, there's something about these movies that make them stand out other than just being garbage trash. You know, so I stand alone in the bowels of France. I remember I let my uncle got me into horror movies, and then I let him borrow this, and he's like, "What the fuck are you making me watch?"
Dude, just like see, now you've gotten to the point of the movies to where like my innards are just. I feel like I need to get clean. Yeah,
I told you this is like we're in the like need a shower afterwards section of the.
Dude, people like I think people like to go down these roads every now and again. Maybe not all the time, but there's nothing wrong with admitting that, man. I like watching I'm telling you, Martyrs just sounds like it's gonna be the perfect.
It's like you're already traumatized before you.
I know. I really am. I really am. I really am.
But you'll be surprised at how good the movie is. Like that's what's so crazy about it.
Right.
And I guess we'll move. Actually, I'm going to put this one a little lower.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to put this one at the bottom of the barrel. Oh, I just spilled my liquid death.
Oh shit.
So next up, we're going to go to a movie that I mentioned when I was talking to you earlier, and this movie that was recently released by the fine folks, the well-mannered, mentally stable folks at Unearthed Films, and that is Dead Girl. This movie is, again, I love that cover. That cover's so fucking cool. God, I kind of want to also say something about this. This is probably, I mean, maybe one of, I am not a fan. Oh, you own it. Oh, yeah. I am not a fan of movies like I Spit on Your Grave, Last House. I don't like those movies.
Explain that to the audience.
R-word revenge movies. I just think there's something to those movies that I don't think is redeemable. I don't think the scenes, the prolonged scenes of like, rape, and I just don't enjoy that. And I think it is exploitative in a way that is supposed to be titillating in a way. That's my personal opinion. Every time I talk about I Spit on Your Grave and movies like that, they're like, it's all about the gore. It's all about the revenge. There's way to get gore and revenge that don't involve like 20-minute anal R-word scenes. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. So I feel like I'm being a little hypocritical with this, but there's something a little bit different about this movie that I do find a little, I don't know. It's a weird movie. We can go into it if you want, but
no, please do.
This movie is about, it's a couple of friends. They enter this sort of abandoned, I don't know if it's like a warehouse or an old broken down building or something.
I thought it was an old hospital or something.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a hospital. Okay. I couldn't remember what the setting was. And they find a girl who they believe to be dead, right? But she's not like rotting or any, she's just there, right? She's just this girl that exists in a way that she shouldn't, but she doesn't move. She doesn't react to anything. So you could probably put two and two together about what they decide to do with this girl and bring in their friends and do to this girl. And everybody's just dumping loads in this abandoned girl. I mean, that's essentially what the movie is.
An abandoned girl.
Yeah, she's an abandoned girl. But this does take a little bit of a spin on that revenge movie because something happens at the end and you find out maybe she wasn't as helpless as they thought she was. Right. So that's what's great. But again,
that's kind of a cult classic film.
It is. And I think maybe the scenes that the R-word scene, I don't know if you want to say that word on your channel.
Try not.
Yeah, I'm just skipping that. Yeah, I don't want to say it. So
they'll demonetize it because
I know.
They don't like that word.
Right. Something that's different about this movie is I don't know, just the way it's shot and the tone of the movie stands a little bit, it just stands outside of the usual like R-word revenge movies to me in a way that those other movies I just feel like trash. Like I think people enjoy watching those scenes, but it's a really fucked up movie. It's really fucked up. There's not a lot of story to it. There's not a lot to go into. The main characters they're
That's
not
what makes it kind of
redeemable.
scarier, though. You know,
Right.
there really isn't much story to it.
Right. Yeah. It's a really fucking weird movie. But again, it's the effects are great. It's shot really well, and the performances are awesome. And the ending is what just kicks you in the fucking balls, and that's what makes it so cool. So
there you go, guys. And Dead Girl just came out. From Unearthed Films. This is the 15th anniversary edition.
Yeah, it's a cool movie, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Dead Girl is what it is.
Yeah, there you guys go.
But I would say for people who refuse to watch those movies, like I Spit on Your Grave and those other, I think this one might be a little bit more accessible than those. But if you don't like any of that type of horror, just fucking stay away from it because you're not gonna like it. You know.
Where are we going next, Justin?
So next up, this is a movie that really doesn't need much of an introduction. This is the Human Centipede trilogy steelbook, and I
love Human Centipede. I think it's a good movie.
Fucking awesome. The third one sucks, in my opinion. I'm not into it. It's just too screamy and annoying for me. But part one, but specifically part two, I think part two, Human Centipede 2. It's extremely uncomfortable, but in my opinion, it is one of the best horror movies ever made. I truly believe that because of how clever the direction he took. First of all, to shoot it all in black and white. The color version is included on these trilogies, so you can watch it in color. I prefer the black and white version. I think it just changes the tone of the movie. But
that's how I saw it, was the black and white version.
Yeah, he plays into basically the first movie is a doctor who obviously sews people from ass to mouth together as an experiment, essentially. So somebody eats food, they shit into the next person's mouth, they shit into the next person's mouth. It's fucking gross. But the second one takes it to another level where you have, and the casting of that main character is just unbelievable.
He's creepy.
He is just unbelievable. And he's obsessed. This is kind of meta. He's obsessed with Human Centipede. He watches it on repeat all day, every day, goes back to his shitty house with his mom, and he decides to kind of do what all the squares and suits feel that people are going to do when they play video games or watch movies, is go out and repeat it. But that's what this guy does. So he rents this warehouse and he tries to create even a bigger centipede, and it's even more brutal and it's more gross. But it kind of dips into just even crazier horror. There's even a lot of gross, disturbing stuff outside of just the centipede stuff. I mean, there's a scene where he jerks off with sandpaper, and it's just so fucked up. It's just, oh, and then the gas pedal scene at the end of the movie. But I saw this movie in the theater at Screenland with the first time, and with a bunch of other weirdos, and I was just blown away.
With a bunch of other weirdos.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of weirdos standing around watching Human Centipede 2, and it was just so fucking crazy. And he has another movie that he can't. I want to make a video about this so bad, and if I could get a chance to talk to him, it would be incredible. He's got another movie ready in the can that he just can't find distribution for because it's just so crazy.
Fucked up?
It's about these group of women who get together and masturbate to tragedies. Like in the trailer, there's a girl watching footage of 9/11, double clicking her mouse. It's so. This guy has not stopped, but he says there's a moral. He always tries to throw in some kind of moral question or something.
So this is the kind of guy that describes the movie like you just said. He's like, she's watching footage of 9/11. She's looking at her mean. But wait a minute.
Yeah, it's but he says there's very strong. So I think it's a social commentary about how we the whole world is obsessed with tragedy. Yeah, it's just the way it is. And bad news and the news cycle and wars and everything. The news is nothing but bad news every fucking day. So I think that's the point he's trying to make. But yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, Vinegar Syndrome won't put it out.
Oh yeah, he did. He's done interviews about it. I need to dig into it because I haven't checked in on that movie in a few months. Maybe it did find some sort of release or something. But
maybe it'll get on Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi. Yeah, that'd be great. The movie that gets Tubi shut down. But I have three more here. All
right. Where are we going
this
next?
is a group of movies. I have the really box set, but this is the Sex, Murder, Art box set. The films of Jörg Buttergeit. Jörg Buttergeit is responsible for Nekromantik 2, and a movie called Skram.
I've seen the Nekromantics.
Yeah. So yeah, there's them kind of do. Actually, I probably shouldn't. There's no nudity on that. So basically, it's a necrophiliac movie. Right. There's an ambulance driver, and he's either he follows an ambulance drivers or he is an ambulance driver, and they find a corpse and they do all this crazy shit to it. The first and second one are both. These movies are really, really crazy. They're German films. This guy he's only made a handful of films, but. It's a love story essentially. I think I'm getting these confused because it's been a few since I've seen them. I think it's Nekromantik 2, where it's like a full-on like romance movie where she's actually in love with this corpse. So there's
I think that is too.
Is that too? Yeah, there's
I believe
extended romance scenes where she has this corpse in her bed. She's like stroking it, and there's this beautiful music going down. I think she like sticks a lead rod in his shit so that it can like stay up. But
it's they're intense. Yeah. I have, what's funny is I have Arrow. I gotta show them to you. Hold on, let me grab these real quick.
Oh, you got the Arrow. I can't believe they released those. With some of the most amazing artwork too.
So it's like so funny that Arrow put these out, and the artwork for them are just gorgeous. Like, look at part 2.
Oh, that's so.
That's Nekromantik. Look at that. And then look at part 2. I mean, it's just incredible, the artwork that they did for these.
Did that come they come together or separate?
No, they were separate.
Yeah.
They were separate. But look at that.
It's amazing. I can't believe they put those movies out.
I know, from Arrow.
That is so wild. That was like the heyday of Arrow when they were really like balls to the wall.
Look how gorgeous that is, a part 1.
It's incredible. I love the pink on Nia. I love the pink on that one.
Now, these guys, I can attest. These are legendary movies.
They are.
Everybody. I think they do have actual dead animals in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those movies, you know what they harken back? They harken back to the old like VHS days, like Faces of Death, Traces of Death.
Right.
Like the forbidden movies where they were making mixtapes, like gore mixtapes, and scenes of Nekromantik would be on there, and people would think it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
these are crazy ass movies. So if anybody wants to have a classier version of these films,
you
can get the Arrow video ones.
Yeah, you know what's funny? This came with the soundtracks on CD. There was a period of time where I had the Nekromantik soundtrack. Just whenever I turn on my car, that's what when you get you put a CD in your car, and you never change it, and it's just always on. Like it was but because it's really cool piano music. Like the score is great. It's great score.
If you just showed people the music without the movie, they'd be like, "Oh,
yeah." The soundtrack is so good, but it's also shitty at the same time because it's so lo-fi, made on like a Casio keyboard, like an 80s Casio keyboard, but it's so cool, man. I love those movies. They're so wacky.
Pick. Yeah, I can attest to those guys. Those are nasty ass movies.
And I have 2. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save the bell of the ball for the last one.
Okay. Where are we going next?
Because this one's kind of shitty. This is another one from Sloppy Second Sales.
Sloppy Seconds.
Shout out Sloppy Seconds. And this is the Guinea Pig, the original Guinea Pig movies. There's more Guinea Pig movies that came out, but there's a movie. Which one was it? I think it's The Flower of Flesh and Blood. Charlie Sheen caught wind of this movie, saw some of it, and called the FBI because he thought he found a snuff film with Flower of Flesh and Blood. These movies, for the most part, there's some that are kind of goofy and silly, kind of have a little bit more like comedy to them. But like movies like Flower, Flesh, and Blood, it is intended and made and feels like you found somebody's basement, like Jeffrey Dahmer's snuff film.
Oh my God.
There's no story. It's shot on VHS. There's the audio's like just mic audio.
Right.
It is essentially as real. It's like somebody tried to make a fucking snuff film without actually killing somebody. Like, how much can we convince people that this is real?
Are there guinea pigs in it?
I don't know why they call it guinea pig. I don't know why they
Because
call
my
it guinea
mind
pig.
went to a Richard Gere type of
Oh, I could no. It's not that. It's not
shoving
that was
guinea pigs
a. I
up his
think that was a
ass.
gerbil. That was a gerbil. But there's Richard Gere. Yeah, maybe he did.
Oh,
Put
he
the,
shoved gerbils up his ass.
yeah, it was a gerbil thing. But you can see like just on here, like just that image. Or I don't even know if you
Oh
actually.
my
Maybe you don't want to.
God.
Maybe you don't want to show that on your thing.
Dude,
It,
we got a whiff
dude,
of that. No, that was brutal.
this looks like something you'd find on like a gore site, like a real life gore site. Like that's what this
So this is a level 9 or a level 10 in
This
terms
is
of-
level. This is 9, 10, and there's actually a couple of these that I haven't seen. I've seen Flower, Flesh, and Blood, and I've seen I don't know 1 or 2 of the other ones. Mermaid in a Manhole, Android of Notre Dame, Devil, Woman Doctor, He Never Dies, The Devil's Experiment, and The Flower, Flesh, and Blood. All these movies are on one disc.
Jesus
They
Christ.
look like shit. They sound like shit.
And they're disturbing. It's
Yeah, they're
really rough to watch.
yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
It's bad. And
Before you get to your last movie, can I give you a recommendation? I don't know if you've seen this before.
yeah, what do you got?
It's a found footage movie. It's called Hate Crime.
What the fuck? No, dude.
You haven't heard of that?
Oh no.
Hate Crime is about, it's a found footage movie. It's this family, this Jewish family. They're celebrating a birthday party for one of the family members. And everybody's having fun. The parents are there. The in-laws are there. And just a family celebrating a birthday. And they're filming the happy birthday. All of a sudden, you hear this glass break and these guys break in. And these neo-Nazi dudes just take over the family. Tie them all up. And it is effing rough.
It sounds like Trauma, that movie that I saw on Tubi called Trauma.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that sounds fucking brutal. Where'd you see that on?
Tubi.
God
now,
damn it,
if memory serves, the director is not that it makes it any less weird, I think, but I think the director was a Jewish guy, and it's what I think the movie was supposed to kind of like reawaken awareness of, like, you know, like how Jews are, I don't know if they're
persecuted or something.
Persecuted and stuff like that. I think it was the same kind of thing that the director for Megan is Missing was trying to do. I talked to the director of Megan is Missing is a cinematographer. He worked on a lot of movies. I can't remember the director's name, but I talked to him back in the day before this movie got popular on TikTok and all that. I saw Megan is Missing in like 2011 or 12 years ago. I messaged the director and I said, "Hey, I just want to say I saw your film. I just thought it really affected me, and that's a harder thing to do nowadays. So I just wanted to say, like, cheers." And he was like, "I really appreciate you watching the movie, blah blah blah." And I said, "Yeah, man. Like, what was the intention? Like, just try to make the scariest, most disturbing movie ever?" And he goes, "No. Have you seen Megan is Missing?"
I've never seen it.
Okay, let me explain it to you. That way you can understand what I'm saying. Megan is Missing is about these 2 girls. It's a found footage movie. These 2 girls, one of them's a little more wild and free than the other one, if you get what I mean. And she's meeting up with guys, whatever. And she meets this guy that she met online, but she doesn't know who he is. She talked to him without seeing him. She gets abducted. And then the other friend is trying to find out what happened to her friend Megan, who went missing. And the same guy that took Megan now takes her.
Oh, fuck.
Now, the last 30 minutes of the movie is the guy abusing this girl in this catacomb. And then the ending of the movie is the absolute worst case scenario of what happens to these 2 girls.
Is the whole movie like vlog style, or is there like real film?
The last part of the let me see something. I have it. Anyway, I have the Blu-rays available. The Blu-rays available if people want it. But my point is, I asked the director. It's fucked up, Justin. But I asked the director, "What was your intention, to try to just shock people?" He goes, "No, not at all. My intention was to make the most strongest PSA on the planet for parents." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I want parents and kids to watch my movie. They need to realize they don't know who they're talking to on the internet."
Right. Yeah,
so
100%.
That was his intention. But Justin, it's fucked. It's fucked.
Well, let me ask you this. Because there's a couple movies that, just like we were talking about, the guy who did Human Centipede and things like that, I just wonder how genuine those type of things are when people talk about how, oh, I didn't really want to make a fucked up movie. I was just trying to make a point. Because the next movie that I'm going to be talking about, the director also says, I don't know if Christian can hear me now.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I got my
Oh, okay.
I
okay.
I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was trying to find the Blu-ray to see what label put it up, but guys, go on Amazon and grab Megan is Missing.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I guess I was just thinking like how much of that is absolutely true, or if they did just want to make a really fucked up movie. You know what I mean? Like it's an interesting idea and concept to me, because there's a couple other movies like that too. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Farm?
No.
I reviewed it a couple of years ago, but it's basically about a farm. It's
I watched your review though.
The director said he made it to spread awareness of veganism, right? Because he's a vegan, and well, vegans are kind of fucking nuts too. So maybe he just did want to spread the word. But it's a farm, but instead of cows and chickens and whatever, it's a farm of people, and they own a catering company, and they just chop and eat people, and that's what their business is.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, when you watch the movie, it's like, no, you just made a really fucking crazy ass horror movie, dude. The Farm is awesome. Yeah, that's wild. I kind of want to see. It sounds similar, maybe to Poughkeepsie Tapes, something like that, but maybe more fucked up.
Right on target.
Yeah.
I would say
because I was almost thinking I saw it, then I was like, no, I'm thinking of Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Poughkeepsie Tapes is one of my all-time favorite found footage movies. People make fun of me when I'm like, dude, it fucked me up. They're like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, whatever, man. Like,
no, it takes its time. It's a good slow burn.
I love Poughkeepsie Tapes. All right, what's our main event? Let's take them home.
There's other movies that I could have chosen in this movie, like Lucky McKee's The Girl Next Door, or movies like that are pretty fucked up. But I think, as far as pure on-screen atrocities, you could say, I don't think I've ever seen any movie top the disturbing scenes in this movie.
A Serbian Film.
A Serbian Film. To this day, I just haven't seen a movie quite like it. The story of the movie is he's either a current or retired porn star, and he gets he's kind of down on his luck, right? And a producer comes up to him. First of all, this movie is shot like a fucking Michael Bay movie. It looks beautiful. Have you seen this movie, Christian?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Newborn.
Oh, dude, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. But he gets this guy approaches him, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'll give you the biggest paid. Like, you're set for life. You don't have to like, this is the last movie you'll ever have to make. I can't tell you what we're gonna do in it. I can't tell you what you're gonna have to do, but you have to be committed. You're locked in to get the money, and we're gonna make a crazy movie." So he thinks, okay, maybe we're going to do some bondage, maybe a little S&M, make a weird little porn movie. It couldn't be further from the truth. They have this guy do the most reprehensible, abhorrent, murderous, like graphically sexual shit that I've ever seen in any movie. I don't know. Can you think of another movie that has more fucked up shit in it than this movie? Done this way, with this much production value? There's
a sinister nature to the bad stuff. And it has to do with harming your own child.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most legendary, disturbing movies. I mean, it really has a reputation. So much so that like people, it's talked about in such a way where it's beyond the point of people being like, "Oh, I gotta see it." It's like, no.
Oh yeah.
I know people that just say, "Nope, never, nope, no, I'm not watching it." So naturally, my wife bought me the DVD years ago, and we watch it. And like you just said, we were taken aback because when you hear about this movie, and then you see this gorgeous shot of like these nice cars driving in,
these beautiful villas, and these locations.
Like, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute now. It really is one of the most intensely, painfully, it's needle in the eyes the entire time, metaphorically, movies.
Nothing enjoyable about it at all whatsoever. It's not like a fun movie. And anyway,
but actually, you got the brand new Unearthed Blu-ray.
Yeah, and it's a great release. And that's again like the reason I was talking about, like, do these directors? I know they always say they have a moral. The director of this movie said the only reason this movie exists is in some way to spread awareness of the war-torn kind of violence in his home country of Serbia, right? So I don't. Maybe he's trying to say that the acts in this movie are things that were done to, as these war criminals came in and pillaged their neighborhoods and violated their women and children. Maybe that's kind of what he's trying to say. Like, hey, you think this is a fucked up movie? This was life for us. This was terrorism. Right. This was people busting into your doors, doing your wife in front of you and then laughing in your face while you watch and cry. Like, right. Maybe that's what he was trying to say. And
maybe so. I don't know. Who am I to say? I've never been to Serbia. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But god damn. And this is a movie that I think I've seen twice. I don't know why. Why do we buy these movies, man? Why do we buy them?
Because I think there is a corner of the brain that naturally, and I think sometimes these people that are twisted, it's not a corner of the brain, it's a large sector. But I think we all have this tiny corner of our brain that likes to every now and again turn the light on in that corner and then turn it off. But every now and again. Now, the issue is a lot of people don't want to admit that. Right.
But you know what's... And this movie, this is one of the movies... I've probably seen it maybe 2 or 3 times, right? And the feeling you have going into Serbian film, it is so bad. Like, the content in this movie is so beyond the pale that you kind of forget about how bad it is until you watch it again. Because, the roller coaster ride kind of feeling that we were talking about earlier,
right?
You think, man, I'm gonna watch that. Man, Serbian film was fucked up, like, let's watch that one again, because I watched it with my homies and we watched it a couple times. But then once you get into about 45 minutes into the movie, an hour, you realize, like, oh, okay, now I remember this movie. Like, this, it's just... I think it is. It's just, it's impossible to describe the feeling of watching Serbian film for the first time.
No.
I don't know. I'm beyond words to describe this movie.
We've got to get Facci to watch this.
When I showed him Greasy Strangler, I mentioned Serbian film, and that has been teased. Doing that for the next thing. I mean, we'll traumatize the Fachmeister, man.
It's all right. That's all right.
Because I thought about it, because he kind of goes like you did to pick me for something crazy to watch. He hit me up to watch Greasy Strangler. But this Serbian film is on another level, to where even if you wanted to put this on as like get some beers and watch a fucked up movie, it's even beyond that. Like, I could see people, like, if you showed this to the wrong person, like, it would ruin a friendship. They'd be like, dude, this is fucked up. Like, how are you watching this movie?
This movie's probably illegal. I'm like, no, it's not.
Doesn't illegal. It feel like it should be illegal? It feels like it should be.
Yeah. I'm not going to try to sound like the cool kid in school. Like, you always have those people that'll say, yeah, but it's so over the top. It's just funny. You guys are being dramatic. I mean, I don't think so.
There may be a time you chuckle a couple times in this movie, but it's almost like you're laughing like, because you're shocked.
It's because because I think this is what it is. The fact of the matter is, human beings got together, turned lights on, cameras on. This dialogue was written. They're saying it, and then they say cut, and then the actor's like, "Okay, is it catering time yet?" Like, that's what's crazy to think about. Not the fact. It's almost what's crazy about the movie is not the fact that that the subject matter is what it is, but the fact these were human beings that piss, drink Cokes, eat sandwiches, that there was a moment where cut is said, and boom, they have to be normal.
Yeah.
And that's I want to be a fly in the wall to be on the production set of this movie. I wish I could. That's what I think makes this movie so fascinating.
And even going back further, think about the director writing and pitching this movie. Like, this is not a cheap movie. Like, they had to have some money to make this flick, because it's shot like a fucking high-budget film.
Calling it a Michael Bay film is actually the best description. It's got that glossy factor, and that's what I think people are really thrown off about. I think they probably think they're going to watch Guinea Pig, whatever, like you said, which was shot on a $29.95 cat.
Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
So, if you haven't seen Serbian film, I don't think me or Justin are telling you to watch it, but we're telling you it exists. And you're a grown-ass adult watching this. You make up your own mind. But the fact of the matter is, these movies exist. and I wanted to talk about them. And there's obviously movies the reason I did this, I said to myself, this is the perfect video to bring Justin on, because Justin, I like to do two things at once. I like to make good content that my audience loves and bring on other YouTube people to promote, not only promote them, but so I can learn. And you really got me excited for Martyrs, to see the movie Eat. And like there's a scene in Serbian Film, since we've brought up, it literally won't stop playing in my head, and I need to, like, somebody needs to hit me over the head with a bat just to make it stop,
Yeah, it's, oh goddamn, I'm getting just shivering thinking about that goddamn movie. It's funny, like a lot of these movies, like maybe in my younger years, I think it does take a little bit of maturity. Like everybody, I won't say everybody, but most of us guys, especially guys, have a little edgelord phase when they're 16, 17, where you could maybe laugh at a movie like this. You know what I mean?
It's not funny.
But now when you get older, you watch movies like this, and it's just different. Like a lot of these movies, I'm glad we kind of went from assholes to Serbian Film, because there is spectrums of these type of films. There's probably movies that could do similar things that happen in Serbian Film, but if shot in a goofy, zany John Waters way, may not be disturbing. Right. But when it's all about how the material is approached and executed, that makes these films so different and wild and intriguing and actually worth watching.
Yeah. I totally agree. Justin, this was incredible. I mean, this is one of my favorite videos I've done with these kind of series I've had.
This is fun.
I got a lot out of this. I think, I don't know. I think that this is an important video to make, and
I do too.
I don't think that this is necessarily, well, there's a lot of movies, Justin, like he did say, you guys should see this because there's merit. There's actually great, stuff to these movies. Some of them, you have to use your best judgment. Some of these movies, I think you have to decide, okay, am I going to watch Guinea Pig, this weekend? That's for you to decide. But some of these movies, like Justin said, I think there's more. I think you'll agree, Justin, some of these, there's more than meets the eye on face value, So this is very interesting to me. Justin, what do you want to promote? What do you have coming up, and where can people follow you?
You follow me on Instagram. It's Justin MF David on Instagram, and
what's
Justin motherfucking David, baby. Okay. I kept trying different combinations of my name, and it was like username already taken, like Justin.David, Justin what David, Justin, like, and I just could not. Every fucking handle's taken, so I was like, fuck it. So I just did it. And you can find me on YouTube at Justin David. If you type in the little @ thing, it's at Justin David Talks. I would love people to go and check out the Bill Murray video. That's my most recent video that I put a lot of work into. I did a ton of research, and I know there's a lot of rabid Bill Murray fans out there. And I didn't make the video to try to say, like, go fuck yourself if you like Groundhog Day. That's not the point of the video.
It's not.
But
it's not.
But I think there's a lot of things that many actors do, but in particular, a lot of things that Bill Murray has kind of done over the past 25 years that I'm just very surprised that people don't talk about more often. So that's the latest one. So, and then I'll have another video dropping tonight or tomorrow about these crazy kick streams that are happening now. So
all right, I'm looking forward to it. My audience, guys, thank y'all for watching this. I hope y'all got a kick out of this. I thought this was a sensational video, and we got some great information. And Justin's an underrated guy when it comes to a wealth of knowledge about weird movies, and we need more people like that. That's not who I am. I'm not. I want to be more into this, and this is why I'm bringing Justin on, so I can learn. It's not just about you guys; it's about me too. Like, I want to learn, and I want to be better, and I want to be more educated, so I can be a better YouTuber, I guess. So, Justin, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, check him out. Go on his YouTube page. He's doing great things. Go follow him on Instagram. He's always making funny posts, great posts. So thank y'all for watching this. This is your old pal CHH, a Serbian Film, available now on Blu-ray and DVD. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.